Good afternoon. It's Chucky Funn. It's time for the history of diabetes. History of diabetes number one. Many years ago in the ancient times, diabetes was discovered by the ancient Greeks. When diabetics would urinate, it would smell very sweet. And as time went by, diabetes took a toll on many people at the turn of the century. Thank God I wasn't born then. As time progressed into, I'd say the 20s, two doctors, they actually took the pancreases out of dogs. Try getting that done today. Anyway, they discovered that the dogs became diabetic. No pancreas. As time went by, there actually became insulins. Insulins were made out of cow and pork. When I was young and diagnosed in 1972, I used to take cow insulin. Every incidentally, I'll moo. I don't know why, but that's a different story. Also, too, before 1972, when I got diagnosed with many things, people also say I got diagnosed with other things, but that's another story. Anyway, they had shots, and you'd have to boil your shots to take your syringe of this cow shit and put it in your bod. Wasn't a lot of fun. But anyway, 1972, great year, Gordon Lightfoot, lots of, remnants of the hippies. I was lucky, I got plastic shots and I took care of my insulin. But testing was very bad. Testing was really bad because you had to urinate into like a tube and you had to put pellets of chemicals in, shake it up and it would tell a color and then it would tell you what your urine was, your sugar in your urine. Not a lot of fun. Everybody thought I was a Frankenstein, mad scientist as an 8-year-old. So as time went along, very interesting times, 70s, we finally got strips. So I'd pee on a strip and it told me what my blood sugar was 2 hours ago. I wonder why there's complications back in the 70s. Anyway, time went on. That was really good is that I went to diabetic camp and went to Bearskin Meadow. That was very interesting because Bearskin Meadow sounded like a nudist colony when I was like 8 or 10. I was going, what's up with that? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. 70s came along. In the late 70s, we got blood strips. And these blood strips, you could actually poke yourself, and then it gave a color chart, and it told you what your blood sugar was. Thank God they got those. Then into the 80s, things got a little bit better with everything. They ended up, I think it was in the late 80s, they came up with Humalog, or early 80s, Humalog insulin. So I didn't moo like a cow anymore. Then, in the early 90s, I would say 90-ish, they started coming out with meters. I could poke myself and it would tell me what my blood sugar was. So nothing really came along until I would say the late 90s, and they finally came with Humalog insulin, which is great because you take the shot and it actually takes your blood sugar down like that. It's like the crack cocaine of insulin. Then around 2000, I would say, maybe 5, they came out with really good meters that would work in like 3 seconds and you could know what your blood sugar was. You had Humalog. Let's jump up another 10 years, and then finally around 2015, they came out with what they call Dexcom meters. I could tell what my blood sugar is by looking at my phone. It was great. A lot of people would say, why are you always looking at your phone? Well, you don't want to know that. Yes, I'm not a Texan. I'm diabetic. So anyway. And then also, too, as well, the biggest thing was Lantus. Lantus insulin is great. You take it once, let's say 24 units, and then 24 units in 1 hour will go and it will shoot an amount of insulin, 1 unit per hour. So over time, you can actually just take 1 shot and that's it. And it was a really, really good thing to have besides having, the pump, as they call them. So I didn't want to go around saying I have a pump on because people would look at me weird. What are you talking? You got a pump on, man? I don't need to know your personal stuff. That's just a little weird. So anyway, that's the history of diabetes by Chucky Funn.